Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Rock Bottom Podcast with Ray DeVito, formerly known as the J-Hole, and I'm gonna quit saying that. I'm gonna retire that phrase. I'm gonna get a new code from Silk City Hot Sauce. But in the meantime, put in J-Hole. Go to silkcityhotsauce.com. Put in J-Hole. Save 15% on everything. I gotta get the Bob Levy blue cheese hot sauce. I gotta get that one. I also got to try Rob Saul's. But my favorite is I'm going to go with Jonestown. Jonestown's my favorite hot sauce over there at silkcityhotsauce.com. But yes, this is Rock Bottom Podcast with Ray DeVito. I'm Ray DeVito. My guest today, I got the great Keith Malley, Keith and the Girl Podcast Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's when I started first time I ever did podcast. It was their podcast. I think I've been in on it at least 80 times over the years. I got to do it more often. I haven't done it. Yeah, back in the day, I used to do it like once a month and once every other month or so. And now I got to hit them up. Yeah, I'll hit them up and I'll do it. But yeah, they used to. I used to live in the neighborhood of Astoria, and always good times at that studio, and that's what this felt like. Yeah, I love doing podcasts with Keith and Hamda, and I have Keith Malley on this one. Check him out on Twitter at Keith Malley. Check out Keith and the Girl podcast. Yeah, you can hear all my old episodes on their website if you go to past guests, Ray DeVito, and you can hear all those. But yeah, they were great times. Went on tour with those guys. Went all over the West Coast in a tour bus. What do we did the Comedy Store in LA. We did Portland, Seattle, Vegas, Kansas City, Denver. It was great, great. So yeah, got to catch up with Keith on this. And what else do I want to say? What else? Helium Podcast Network. Thank you. Let's get some bookings in. But yeah, we have a good time on this one, man. And so you guys are gonna enjoy. And all right, hit subscribe to the Patreon, you sons of bitches. Why are you not subscribing to the Patreon? Thank all you guys who are subscribed to the Patreon. Yes, I love all you guys. Dino, Sark, Teamster Tim, Tommy, Stevie. Yeah, there's 37 of you. We're climbing. We're climbing. So no, thank you guys so much. I love all you guys. Still getting the footage together for my special. It's gonna be great. But all right, enjoy this episode, and I will talk to you guys later. But patreon.com/radio. Hit like, subscribe, all that jazz. You know the deal. All right. That's all right, guys. Enjoy. All right, what's up? We're live. I'm welcome, Rock Bottom Podcast, formerly known as the J-Hole
What the
Podcast.
fuck does that mean?
I just love I gotta pay homage to my past co-host, Bob Biggerstaff.
He hates you. I just heard Bob on your show. He dislikes you very much.
You don't think I should keep both names?
It's stupid. There's no point. I think you think the G-hole, the name is so clever that you want to keep it, but I don't get why you changed it in the first place. Good to see you, Ray. I like
It's
your
good to see you.
Thank
By
you.
the way, this is my good friend, Keith Malley.
Of course.
Co-host of Keith and the Girl podcast with the lovely Hemda.
Yes.
And podcast Hall of Famers.
That's true.
Yes. I like how I reminded you, like, that's right. I am a podcast Hall. Yeah,
well,
so
every so often I'd listen to I'd listen all the time, listen to Ray's show, but every so often I would send Ray a message and go, "Oh, this is interesting. Do you even listen to your own show? Did you know this person made an N-word joke? Did you hear this kind of thing? The beginning of your show, why do you keep saying G-hole?" And he said, "How about I have you on the show and you tell me how to fix my show?" Being
all right, the podcast doctor.
Here we are. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy you're here. But I do love it because it comes from lovingly text, like from a loving place.
Yes.
But I know your personality, and I just know you cringe listen when you hear things because you are a perfectionist. Every time I've done your podcast, you're pretty much.
Here's the thing: it's not perfectionist so much, Ray, as when we do Keith and the Girl. As a host, I'm not on my phone walking to the gym. And the show keeps cutting in and out, and then the guests have to fend for themselves. I don't know if that makes me a perfectionist.
I was not walking to the gym, and I was at a condo that was in That was a couple months ago, but that was at a condo. I was at a
I didn't
condo.
mean to bring it up if it was a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's maybe a month and a half ago. I want to say it was Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the Wi-Fi in some of these condos are not great, and you don't know until you go on air.
Right.
So,
You don't have to put your show out if you're not on it, though. Do you know that?
um, I think I was out for a minute. I think I was out for a minute or so.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was out for. Now, were you listening to the live feed? Because sometimes the live feeds, I will edit some of that when I
I
put it
listen
out
to
as a
the
pod.
podcast. That's all I know.
Oh, all right. Wow. Then thank God you didn't hear a live feed. Who knows?
Do you hear your show back sometimes and hear a lot of things that you didn't notice at the time?
Yeah, yeah, I do. One of the things, because I got a new mixer, and I like doing. I want to do more and more in person. But I got a new mixer, and it doesn't. It kind of cuts in and out a little bit when I do the
Fine.
StreamYard.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Now that's why I went back to this. I went back to while I'm doing StreamYard, I'm doing the plug-in microphone.
Okay.
It's better.
Okay. So let's start with this G hole thing. Okay. You always
What's up?
now, did you already do? I know you do it after the fact, I assume, right? So are we pretending we already heard an introduction? Or are we doing, is this going to be the introduction as well? I think
No,
that's
I'll do an introduction too.
yeah, you got to do the intro. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the introduction that you just did. Okay. Uh, yeah, the G hole doesn't make any sense when you bring that up. I think you're too lazy to change some Silk City hot sauce code from G hole to, you know, the bottoms up, rock bottom. That's the big, yeah. So stop that. And what, by the way, what is Silk City hot sauce? Because I go there and is it a hot sauce company made for comedians to make their own hot sauce? Because I see a lot of comedians have their own hot sauce. You should
Yeah, here. I'm gonna grab just to let you know for those of you watching. Yeah, here's one. Like, yeah, that's Aaron Berg's hot sauce. Yeah,
okay.
he likes a lot of comedy podcasts. So, but I use that hot sauce. I actually like the hot sauce. As you see, it's like half filled. Oh, yeah, nothing's worse when someone shows a promo of a sponsor and it's completely filled to the top, like I
Right.
never used it. Look at
You-
mine. I've used 3/4 of the bottle already.
That one's called Badass Jew.
Yeah, and that's
Yep.
Aaron Berg's hot sauce.
Okay. Did
But
they
yeah,
ask you to make a hot sauce?
no, I don't have one. I never asked to have a hot sauce. It's never been offered, but I mean, I
I don't know
plugged
what
there.
kind of cut you get for mentioning them, but say you want a hot sauce. As a listener, I'd want that hot sauce.
All right, I will. I will see if Jeff Levine. I will reach out to Jeff Levine, see if we can get a Ray DeVito hot sauce.
And
And
and who else? And so the beginning just happened. Who else did we hear? We would have heard Silk City hot sauce, and we would have heard what's the podcast company that you always bring up, and then you go, but I don't know what they're doing for me. And
that's Helium Podcast Network. All I know is I'm on their network, and I was cool with. They're like, hey, we're going to feature your podcast every Monday. Whatever episode you put out on a Monday, we'll feature it. I'm like, okay, great. And I was like excited because I'm like, all right, I'm going to start working their clubs, and I've gotten not one booking from Helium Podcast Network.
but you keep saying helium just in case, like they hear it and go, fuck.
Yeah, just in
said helium. Why don't you say Madison Square Garden?
case. Because they never emailed, because they never reached out to me and said, hey, we're featuring your podcast.
Right.
Now, if they did that, I'd be sure.
But we were saying sometimes, like during the show, you hear the show back and you hear things that you didn't hear before. Is that because? Are you saying that's because of you had mixer problems of some kind, or you're not necessarily a good listener?
I don't know. I'm a good listener. When I hear something I don't like, I cringe. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever said the N word on my I hope not.
Not the N word per se, but they will say the letter N, making some kind of joke about it.
Oh, I know what you're alluding to, and yeah, that's a whole like compound media thing. That was a Gino Bisconti thing. That he with his mind.
More than that though. But by the way, that brings up this point. How many? It's funny when you have
No, just to give people context, he's a guy that's mad at me because we were on a show together, and they abruptly ended the show, as they should, which I have no problem with. He's a white dude yelling the N-word. And then he said they shut the show down early because I
Like
did
the
5
comedy show you're talking about. This isn't your podcast you're talking about, right?
this was a live stand-up show in Connecticut, which I did not expect him to say that word or yell it. He
Maybe I'm
did, and I don't blame the lady for shutting the whole thing down. And then he got mad at me. He went on his Compound Media show saying, Ray DeVito's out there trying to get me canceled. He's trying to cancel. Like, I didn't tell you to yell the N-word in front of a bunch of people. That
I want the audience to let me know if all these stories sound like half stories to them also, because sometimes you drive me fucking nuts. I don't understand what just happened at this club. But anyway, your show always starts before you introduce the person about some beef you're in, but you also say you're not in any beef. I find that interesting. This guy has a problem, and then sometimes
he's allowed to have a problem. I don't mind. I think it's hilarious. It's fine with me.
Because it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, he's gonna have a problem with that. He's got a lot of problems. I don't know if you saw the big thing going on right now is Pat Dixon punched him in the face for something. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, these beefs can be fun, Keith.
You'll be on this. You'll be talking to a guest and go, "Oh, I have no problem with that guy," and they're like, "Ray, I just had lunch with that guy and he hates you." And you're like, "Yeah, no problem here."
Yeah, no, I don't.
Community, it's like the old rap wars or something.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That was.
I want to start a drinking game based on your show, where one of the things people have to drink when you go, yeah, no, and we have to figure out if that's a yes or a no to whatever the topic is.
Okay, sounds good. I'm in. I'll do it with coffee today.
Okay, all right. And the beginning already happened, so you already yelled at people to join the Patreon, right? Join the Patreon.
Yeah, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/Ray DeVito.
And you always add in "you assholes" or "you pieces of shits."
You got to let the people know.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, first of all, let's how are you? What's new? What's going on today?
I'm doing all right. My uncle was in hospice. He passed away yesterday.
Shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whose side?
It's my dad's brother. My dad, as you know, died young. He died many years ago.
Mm-hmm. You tell us every day. We know.
Yeah, 2006. He was 58. He was young. He was a youngin. And then this was his brother that he was closest to. I think he's like 7 years older than my dad. But I was working in Cincinnati and Dayton last week, so I knew he went into hospice the week before. So I was able to see him Wednesday. So I went over and I saw him Wednesday, and he was lucid. And yeah, we got to talk. It was a good time. He was like very excited to see me. Yeah, we had a great time. Like it was, yeah. I mean, yeah, he was very happy to see me. We were joking back and forth. My cousin was there. His son, that's whose house he was staying at. My cousin Pepe, and yeah, we're just reminiscing stories of from like childhood. Like
I remember, like what? God?
My dad almost shot him with a gun once. That was I remember that as a kid.
Why'd that happen? Some kind of comedy beef?
We used to go camping in this cottage in upstate Pennsylvania. I don't know where. I'm too young to remember what city it was, but they'd have to like go turn the water on in the middle of the night. And my dad was always into guns. My dad had a bunch of guns. My dad was in the army, always collected guns to go to the shooting range. So he brought we're out in the wild, so he brought a gun with him. So it's me, my family, so my mom, my dad, my two sisters, then my Uncle Wiki, his son Pep, his wife, and his son Pepe, and then my Aunt Maria, Uncle David, and their two, Frank and Dave, my cousins. And we get there at night, and it's dark. You got to go turn the water on. So my dad goes outside with my two uncles, and my dad brought a gun with him in case there's any wildlife or whatever. And they saw a bear. They heard a bear, and then my dad heard a bear, and I guess my dad, who's the one with the gun, starts running away. and starts shooting at the bear. He's shooting at the
And
bear
he's
while
running.
he's shooting at the bear and he's running away.
Right.
And my uncle was like, "Well, I'm not going to run after him. Like he's shooting behind him. Like I'm like, why am I? I'm not going to go where he's firing." So yeah, my uncles got scared. They had to like hide. They went into the bush the other way. Then my dad had to go back out and find my uncles because he almost shot him with the gun accidentally.
I can picture it like a painting.
Yeah,
You said on your show that your uncle would close his eyes and he would see ants, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
a bug. And you that didn't make any sense to you. But brief that then real quick you said, I mean, I can when I close my eyes, I see the nerves in my eyes. And then people just talked
That's
about other things. What does that mean? Maybe you guys are just describing it differently.
No, no. He said he saw ants, and then my cousin with his wife, they were talking to the nurse in hospice, and they're like, "Yeah, that's normal. A lot of old people see that." And she goes, "The good news is he knows they're not real." And it's like, all right, I guess that's
Okay, but
yeah,
how do you see how about you though? Maybe you're getting hospice, time or something. What
hospice time.
you close your eyes and you see your nerves. I don't know what
you
that.
you can see the nerves a little. You don't see that at all.
No,
Not at all.
I don't know what. No, do I see
Especially if there's a light. You don't see like little like blood vessels.
what? No, but I probably do, and I just don't think I'm seeing blood vessels and nerves.
Yeah, I could see them in my eyelids.
Did you ever tell a doctor, an eye doctor, or you just
No, because I know it's probably
you
they've always been there. I assume everybody sees them. I didn't know it was just me. Maybe I'm a superhero, Keith.
you
You ever
might
think about that?
you have super sight.
Yeah, my super sight is seeing blood vessels in people's eyelids.
You're nearsighted, right? You gotta be if you could see fucking blood vessels in your eyelids when they're closed.
Yeah, I have trouble seeing far away.
Yeah.
But now that I'm getting older, I have trouble seeing exactly in front of me too. So my eyesight's it's going down.
Yeah. Are you gonna get glasses or contacts or what?
I do have glasses. I have glasses when I drive to see far away.
Okay.
And
But
you know what's amazing about glasses? Which I mean, you wear glasses. I don't know if you're nearsighted, farsighted,
nearsighted.
but it's amazing because like
They are
the
amazing. They really are amazing. Because you know what? They not only work in cars, get this. Your glasses don't know where you are. They could be working for you right now.
glasses always work. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. But when I first got my glasses, I didn't realize how bad I couldn't see. So the first time I put on my glasses and I'm like walking outside, I'm like, oh my gosh, look, I could see the leaves from and that tree that far away, and I could see
Right.
the birds over there. Like you could see so much things. And you're like, these things are amazing. More people should have these. I did not know that you're supposed to be able to see all that stuff. I just thought first time I put on glasses and I was like, this is amazing. I could see so far away.
Why don't you
I
wear them normally? Are you embarrassed about them?
No, my eyes get too dependent on them. Like when I wear them all the time, the second I take them off, like even stuff that would normally not be blurry become more blurry. Does that make sense? So like my eyes get too dependent on them.
Huh. That's interesting.
So if I wear them just like at night, if I'm driving or something, then they're fine. But if I wear them all the time, then everything that's not so far away from me becomes blurry because my eyes get used to
You recognize that it becomes more blurry than it would otherwise.
yeah, than if I wasn't wearing glasses.
Your eyes are something else. All right. Okay. I never heard that.
Well, also I got very thin. I'm a candidate for glaucoma because my retinas are very thin. Like I love how my doctors tell me that. The same way when I go to the doctors and he goes, "Oh, your blood pressure is kind of high." He never gives me anything to do about it. Never tells me any. He's just like, "Hey, by the way, your blood pressure's high."
Right. How you doing health wise?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm on Keppra. I was having non-epileptic seizures. That's what was happening to me. And
And you don't
yeah,
worry about it because they said non.
no, no,
Right.
I do worry about it. I do worry about it. I take Keppra every day. And ever since I started Keppra, like I've been not only fine, like I didn't even realize I was having like little warning sign symptoms that I would get all the time that I didn't even know were related, and like they're gone. Like I don't get these weird feelings in my stomach. I don't like get these weird sweats in my head for no reason. So yeah, and then they want it because it's non-epileptic. They're like, oh, you can come off the Keppra. We'll wean you off the Keppra. I'm like, nah. I'm like, I just want to stay on it the rest of my life. I don't ever want to not be on Keppra.
What's the worst seizure, something like this that ever happened on stage?
Um, yeah, I'm not going to say that's the worst. I mean, I've been in a car accident before, so I think that one might.
That you don't remember because of the seizure?
I'm assuming I don't know because I also got a concussion, so that could be a reason why. But I think I probably had an episode. That's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Were you wearing your glasses? Ray DeVito.
Yeah, I want to say I was wearing my glasses at that time. I don't think that was going to prevent it, so I could just see the crash clear. I don't know. like I got a really good look at his license plates and his yeah.
But you wouldn't know what happened, right? Like if you just started jerking the wheel or if you zoned out.
No, and yeah, and then what did not help is that a police officer arrested me and said I was on narcotics and everything. That was not a fun.
But that's also that's the thing. That's the thing with your show. I feel like there's a lot of I know the story, and I know that you were working for a hospital and giving drugs to people that needed them, complete legit on the up and up. But on your show, all you say is like, and they said I was on narcotics. I wasn't. The end. And I'm like, great. Share the rest of the fucking story.
Yeah, I was yeah, I had a part-time job where I delivered medications for a pharmacy, and whatever you don't deliver, you take home and you bring back the next morning. So there was some of those medications in the car. So he assumed I was stealing narcotics. He assumed I was on narcotics. But here's the deal: if he thought I was on narcotic, when my sisters picked me up, why did he give them to me? Why did he give the narcotics back? Here, you stole these. Put them back where they belong. Come on, you know better. What are you doing?
Are you able to drink on your on these seizure pills?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Does it affect it?
No. I quit drinking for like 6 months because I thought I was having episodes because of drinking. But then when I was still having episodes and I was sober,
were you glad? Like, yeah.
No. I was scared. I thought I was having. I don't know. I thought I was gonna die. I was like fine with. I have no family. My sisters don't. They like me, but they don't like me. So I mean, I don't really have a family. So I was like, if I die, who gives a shit? No one gives a fuck.
What do you think? Ray, when people listen to Ray on this show, of course you hear Ray. He sounds like a sweet guy, right? Why does it seem everybody hates you?
Oh, my sisters are just cold. It has nothing to do with me. My uncle's on hospice. They live 10 minutes away. I came back from Dayton to like go see my uncle. I'm like, hey, Uncle Wicky's out. You gonna? No, I got my own stuff. When I almost died in the car accident, my sister was at the hospital, and I go, first thing she says to me when I wake up, she's like, why am I your emergency contact? I got my own family to worry about. That's the coldest shit you can hear from your only family members.
And is it true you called the show Rock Bottom after this accident when you had to live with one of your sisters who hates you?
Yeah, when I was staying at my sister's place, yeah.
Okay. Now, did she say, please, I don't want to hear you doing a show about G-holes and stuff. You have to change it if you're staying in.
No, my sisters they'll never hear this. They've never seen me do comedy. They have no idea. In fact, when they did pick me up from the police station after that accident, and I remember the cop telling my sister that your brother's on narcotics, and the first thing I hear out of my sister's mouth, "Oh my God, my brother does narcotics!" Not even
like it's exciting.
No. Like she's like just assume like, of course he's on narcotics. Well, like, of course he is. Oh my God, I knew he'd be on narcotics.
The latest story on your show. You've by the way, congrats on recording your album.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm just going through the footage.
Give us a quick 10 minutes. Go ahead.
A quick 10 minutes. It'll all be out there.
How do
I'm
you like?
still
You
I'm
proud of
still waiting for my dry bar special. I'm waiting for that to come out. It's been like almost a year now, but I guess that's how they are with all of them.
it? Okay. So, so you have like a lot of specials now in the can. It sounds like.
Yeah, 2 in the can.
Okay. All right. What are you calling this one?
I have no idea yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it formerly known as the G-hole.
Formerly known as.
Yeah.
But you on your show, I would hear you talk about you were hanging out with a big. I didn't really understand this. You were hanging out with a bunch of people. There's yachts. There's casinos. Is this the same group of people?
No, that was I did 2 weeks in the Bahamas at Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. Joker's Wild is a comedy club there. But no, every night it's like just millionaires on spring break. So you're really just hanging out with all these high rollers that I mean, you're like the only celebrity there. So
Right.
like they go to your show. I ended up hanging out with some Cleveland Browns players, David Njoku, the tight end, Harrison Bryant, and some offensive linemen were at my show. I just happened to be there the same week Deshaun Watson brought the Cleveland Browns there. And then I ended up hanging out in the nightclub with the Browns. I'm in the VIP section. It's me, the Cleveland Browns, and like just a bunch of women. And yeah, that's exciting.
Are you telling them their stats? That's what I picture.
Oh, I don't know if it's out yet, but I did talk about a very humiliating experience. Nick Chubb, the running back, very good running back. I'm in the VIP section. He's the guy that scores a touchdown, just hands the ball back to the referee. He's never excited about anything.
Okay.
So I'm just hanging out. It's me and him. He probably doesn't want to be talking to me, but we're in the same area.
Right.
I go, hey man, Bob Biggerstaff sent me a jersey of his last year, so I showed him a picture of me wearing his jersey, and he could have cared less. He could have absolutely cared less. I'm like, and then in my head, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Here I am showing like this 25-year-old dude a picture of this old dude just wearing his jersey. Him not. I wanted to take the elevator to the top floor and just jump off the balcony.
Sure.
I felt like shit, Keith.
Who won the Super Bowl MVP in 1992? Ray DeVito.
92, was it Emmett Smith? It probably was a Cowboy. I don't know if it was Aikman. Yeah, it had to be. It was definitely Dallas Cowboy 92.
Who won the World Series in 1983?
83, I'm going to say the Baltimore Orioles.
This is amazing to me. This is an amazing skill you have.
It's all
what can we
knowledge
do
that'll get you nothing.
So that it helps your life, right? What can we do that this can work for you?
Yeah, nobody cares that I know that stuff.
Have you been? Would you date a woman and she's like, you're not paying attention to me. You're not remembering dates when I tell you something. You don't know anything about my family, and I told you 3 times, but you do know who won hockey in the 70s.
I don't know hockey,
but do you see what I'm saying? But you know basketball, you know baseball, you know football, you know the stats like that. Has it ever come up like, but why don't you know that I said my grandma's coming tomorrow?
Well, that hypothetical would have to include a woman that I'm dating, and we haven't had one of those in a while. So,
are you trying?
Not really.
No.
Nah, not really.
The sex not your thing. Because again, I listen to your show, and it really sounds like you could take it or leave it. You've mentioned many times with your medication that you can't get hard on it. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, no, I'll take a blue chew if I'm with a woman. It's not so much having sex with a woman. Now, if I'm in a relationship, great, let's do it all the time. But if I'm not, I don't like the whole awkwardness of the next morning. The whole like, all right, now we're sleeping. Like, all right, are you gonna leave? Am I gonna leave? And I'm not a good sleeper, Keith. That's the other thing. I don't like sharing a bed. I don't like sharing a bed with anybody.
How big's your bed?
I mean, it's big, but I don't know, man. I don't sleep easily.
All right.
I don't fall asleep easily. I just don't.
When's the last time you had intercourse, Ray DeVito?
A year and a half ago.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But hey, if you don't mind, you don't mind. You know, I'm Keith and the Girl a lot. Sometimes we hear from people that they say they're asexual. And I'm like, oh, I'm A+ sexual, unfortunately.
A+.
It takes up a lot of my brain. But
I'm C- sexual.
So is this kind of like a gift? Do you get more done than the average person?
You would think so. I
Right?
just sit there watching stats and watching highlights. Like, I got to know what Cal Ripken's doing. I got to know what's Wade Boggs up to these days.
Do you
Let me.
are you on
What's
any
that?
dating apps?
Yeah, I do the Bumble. I do
Okay,
the Bumble.
because you like that the woman has to rate first.
No, I do the Bumble just to be on something, just to be active. It's nice when a woman's. I went on a few Bumble dates. Um,
And
yeah, one
but what?
one girl heard me do a joke about her. Um, I did a tweet about her. I met her on Bumble and about me texting her, and then her not text me back and saying like that's called being ghosted, which that makes no sense because a ghost is something that annoys you that you don't want to annoy you. So if anything, I'm the one ghosting her. So
Gotcha.
I'm gonna ghost her 5 more times tonight. And then she, out of the blue, after seeing that tweet, texted me. It's like, listen, I'm not ghosting you. I just don't think we're compatible. So she saw the tweet.
But tweet that she's still on subscribe to your tweets, right?
Yeah. She's like, we're just not compatible. And I'm like, maybe this joke's not about you. Maybe I got ghosted by another
I
chick.
know what it is though. When you how sure she was that it was her, right?
Yeah.
You know it's me, and you know it's me. What do you text anything back after that embarrassing text? Like, do you go, I hear what you're saying. You give me what to think about. Do you bother writing back at all?
No, I don't think I texted her back just because she
There's
didn't
not much
text me
to
back
expect. I'm
before.
just
Yeah.
curious. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not petty, man. I'm not. Come on.
Well, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, even if it was nice, even if you went like, thank you.
One thing that annoyed me about her is that she loves like her favorite comics like Hannah Gatsby, which I don't know if you. I have nothing against Hannah Gatsby, but that's more like a one woman show than comedy. Um,
A one they show, right?
a, a one person show. What are we calling it?
Probably one person. Probably one.
One person. Yeah, one
I
person.
didn't see the special. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it was more like it's to call stand up. It's not real, but people like it. I'm not, but to call stand up, it's not really stand up comedy.
No, this is one of the. It really upsets
No, it's
people.
fine. It's fine. I wouldn't call it stand up comedy. I think
What
I would
what
call
is
it.
it? Horror?
No, it's like if you went to see Jersey Boys and like that was the greatest stand up show I've seen. I say it wasn't stand up comedy. I'm not saying it's not a good show. I'm not judging the show. I'm just saying it's not stand up comedy.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
you would relate it more to the Blue Man Group than somebody telling jokes.
No, it's like a one person story. It's more like a storytelling show. I would say it's more like a storytelling show.
Is
Which
story?
you're allowed to be a storyteller. There's a lot of
It's the right.
we're friends with a lot of Ophir is a stand-up comic, but she does storytelling shows. She knows the difference between storytelling and stand-up comedy. And she's so good she could do stories in her stand-up comedy. But I'm saying, like, we do know people that do stories, and there is two different categories. Like it's like rap music. It's like rap music and rock music. Some people confuse it together, and they're the gifted Kid Rock that we all know and respect.
But
outside of
you look
that,
down on the storytellers, right?
no, I don't look down on the story. I'm not saying
A little bit.
no. I'm not saying I look down on it. I'm saying that's not. You should say that's my favorite storyteller.
Right.
Is what I would say.
Are
I'd say,
people
that's
acting like this Hannah Gatsby is going around saying I'm a comedian and people are getting
I don't know. I don't follow her around. I'm too busy looking up, seeing what Don Mattingly's up to.
I'm guessing I don't think they do.
What?
It's like that is not stand up. It's like I don't think they gave a fuck. I
don't think so. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what she's doing or what, but I watched it out of curiosity. I thought it was fine, but yeah, I'd say it's storytelling, which is fine. It's storytelling. Good for her. Or what are they? What I don't know. I don't know these pronouns, Keith.
It was probably, and I'm guessing,
I mean it out of respect.
Our show about her pronoun.
It was a show about her pronouns.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess.
I'm just gonna call everybody dog. What's up, dog? What up, dog? That's my new pronoun for everybody. What's going on, dog?
Where are you at right now?
I'm
get a little lost where you at the places you end up.
I'm in Cleveland right now.
But you're not at your sister's now, right?
No, I haven't. No, I was only there for like 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I left my sister's place is just different schedules. Like they wake up at 5 in the morning. They had a dog. Every time I walk in past 11:30, the dog would like bark. Also, it wasn't easy staying with my sister. It's not. It wasn't fun.
Right. Like what? Like what? Would you guys get into fights or just
She's very bossy.
bossy? Like how? What were you supposed to do?
Just every little thing. Just every little thing she could be bossy about. Like even if I wasn't there all day, like if there's a plate. Did you leave that plate? Was that you? What did you?
Mm.
Like I left this morning. I haven't been home all day. I don't know.
Is she older or younger?
Older.
How old? How much older?
2 years older. I got a sister 2 years older, one 2 years younger.
Okay. And are you living with somebody now?
Yeah, I'm living with my buddy. A buddy of mine that I've known for since like after high school.
And it's your own room?
Yeah, yeah, I got my own room.
Okay, look at you.
Yeah. Well, here's what works out when you got a lot of buddies in their 40s. They get married, and the marriage doesn't work out, but they already bought a home. There's a lot of spare bedrooms, Keith.
You just gotta wait it out.
It's a lot of spare bedrooms.
You're at somebody's wedding and you're like, "I'll see you soon."
Yeah, yeah. I'm just sitting there with all my baseball,
You.
yeah, all my baseball cards in a suitcase. Like, all right, let me know when it goes south. I'm moving in.
How many? By the way, how many baseball cards do you have?
Not. I don't really have them in volume anymore. I got rid of all the ones that like aren't like something to do.
Did you used to drunk buy them on eBay? I know people that do that.
No, not really. Like eBay has gotten. Yeah, the days of buying cars I think are done. For a while, I was doing those car opening. A guy would hire me to like do like the. But I think what he realized is, oh, people are going to watch. We don't really need a comedian. So like he was just spending money that did like nobody's there to listen to jokes.
But what would you do though?
They do these things. Well, now it's not like when we were kids where you can go to the store and like here's $1, get a pack of cards, go home and open it.
Right.
Now they have limited edition packs. So now it's like $35 for a pack of cards. There's only 9 cards in them, and now you're looking for like a special limited edition card and stuff. So it's like it's not the same. It's so like now it's like $100 for a pack of certain cards, and then you open it looking for the one that's worth like $5,000. So the only reason why it's worth $5,000 is because there's someone at eBay willing to buy it for $5,000. So it's a different ball game. But I was doing it. The guy's name is Chicken One of One, and I was doing the videos with him, and that was nice. But then I think he realized, oh, we don't need a stand-up comic to do this. I can just do this on my own. People will still watch.
Okay. What's the most you ever made off a card?
I never sell them, Keith.
Oh yeah, so it's for the love of the game. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't sell them, man.
Do you make them talk to each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you put them? I picture
I look at them with the love that my parents never showed me, Keith.
I picture you put them like on the side of the wall or something on the floor, and then you do stand up in front of them.
I have made a mistake years past. I mean, I don't have them now just because I'm always on the move. So
they're in storage for a special occasion?
No, they're with some relatives of mine, not my sisters, but there were some relatives of mine.
All right.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like I was going to leave my sister. She's like, "Oh, we'll just put them in the basement." I'm like, "No, they don't just fucking go in the basement.
They go on a shelf."
Yeah, well, no, because their basement floods every once in a while. And it's like, all right, I get it, but yeah,
I get it.
so it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
So I don't leave them with my sisters.
So you don't buy them to sell them. So sometimes you just sit on your bed and you look at them and you're like, that guy, right?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll look at an old car and like a Hank Aaron rookie card and be like, man, there's some little kid like in 1952, like open up this pack of cards and like, this is, you know what I mean? Like some kid just sitting around the summer with these cards.
Yeah, but you have them.
Yes, but I'm trying to think of the whole history.
Oh, I see. And you can think about all these little past lives.
Yeah, like it's a little piece of Americana. Like Mickey Mantle was a big deal to Willie Mays was a big, Jackie Robinson was a big deal, you know?
Do you cry thinking about how the kid would cry?
No, I cry about other things. No,
Okay. When's the
no,
last time you cried, Ray DeVito?
I I cried thinking about my uncle. You know, I mean that really hurt me too.
Sure.
The fact that my sisters had no desire to see my uncle, and like that was my dad's uh, closest sibling, and you really just like what would you say if mom or dad and what would you say if dad was here? Like if dad knew that you were not going to see his dying brother who's 10 minutes away from you, how I would how do you think that out of respect for
Sure. I definitely never want to come off as some kind of devil's advocate because I hate these assholes. Just say what you really think. But um, did you ever ask him like, "Hey, why aren't you seeing him?" Like maybe there is, not to be too dramatic, but maybe there is a reason. They're like, I don't know. I'm a little older than you. I don't like this guy.
I did ask my sister. Well, my one sister was out of town. My older sister, she was on a cruise, and but my younger sister, I went over to her house, and she's like, "No, I'm busy. I'm busy. I got to take Vinny to golf. Or I got to do that." I'm like, it's
Like
like, Jesus.
I don't get along with my dad at all.
I know that. I know you don't get
Right.
along.
But I'll say like, oh, I'm not talking to my dad or whatever. And when I'll say this to Ray, and Ray will say like, no, what you should do. And I go, Ray, stop. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, I never know when they're gonna go, so I should
And
talk.
you're like, not soon enough.
Yeah. And Ray will go, no, it's not that. I won't say that. I go, go ahead, Ray. And Ray goes, but you never know when they're gonna go. So it's hard to tell people who lost their parents that like I actually have a horrible parent.
Yeah, like I mean, I go into depth about it, like the fact that like I didn't have a great relationship with my mom. My mom loved me. She didn't like me. My mom hated my guts until I was like 15. Like my mom didn't like me at all. Um,
And when
you
did she
know,
pass? How old were you?
uh, she passed. She was 56. So if she had me at 28, I had to be about 28.
20. Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, but like I didn't. I mean, I got along better with my mom, but like when I was a kid, everything that went wrong, like anytime any trouble, my mom just assumed it was my fault. Like that's just really like, and I get where my mom was coming from.
But
Um,
it was violent. That's a lot, right?
yeah, my parents hit me, but it was more like I'm not even mad at the violence as much as like I was a little kid, and there's a like I got beat up by I talk sometimes I don't talk about with crowds because like it depends on the vibe of the crowd, but like it's a true story. When I was in third grade, I
Well, you have
got
to
beat
be
up.
careful when you say about crowds because your stand-up could go to storytelling real quick.
Yeah, yeah. I'm fine with it. I tell
Yeah,
stories
well,
too.
I'm just saying that.
Ugh.
But go ahead.
Ah,
What were you gonna say?
I tell stories too. I'm fine with storytelling. I'm not. Jesus, how come everyone's got to be on one side of the fence now? Everything's like you're pigeonholed. You're this person. You're pigeonholed. You're that person.
You're the one doing that.
People can't be. All right. No, but when I was in third grade, I got beat up by a fifth grader that lived on my street.
When you were sorry, you were how old? He was in fifth
I was
grade?
in third grade,
Third grade, okay.
and the kid was in fifth grade. And my mom came home, and she walked me over to his house, and I'm like, "What's happening?" Like she angrily took me over to his house and made me apologize, and I'm like, "What the
Hmm.
fuck is?" Even as a little kid, I'm like, "What?" And just a look of confusion on that kid's face, like. It's like, am I being punked? What the fuck's happening? Why is this kid apologizing to me? I just totally beat the shit out of him.
And then next day he's like, stay away from me. Stop fucking with my head.
No, you know what is weird about that is after that happened, that kid was like, in some weird way, it worked in my favor. Where if other kids mess with me, he's like, no, leave him alone. He didn't let other kids mess with me.
He'll do
As a,
something weird at your house with his family.
he wouldn't let other like he felt so sorry for him. You know how shitty of a parent you gotta be psychologically to let some fifth grade bully feel sympathy for the victim.
How did you and your mom did you guys make peace? Obviously, a lot of time between 15 and 28 years old. Did Did you discuss all this stuff before she went? Or no?
Um, not really. A little bit for the fact that like as I got older, here's the deal. I have anxiety, I have ADHD. So I was out. My parents had full-time jobs. I'd get in trouble all the time because I couldn't shut up at school. I'd be just not that I was mean. I just was always in detention, always in school suspension. My mom would get called at work to come pick me up. I got kicked out of Cub Scouts because like uh
Like a
the
class clown or what?
the den leaders didn't want me up. And I'm not even gonna say funny. I was just like I couldn't shut up. I couldn't quit
Okay.
moving.
I picture you
So
hugging everybody. Ray's a good old school hugger.
yeah. So,
How are you doing? By the way, remember this, but how are you doing during COVID with the hugging?
um,
Admit you could tell the audience you love hugging, right? It's your favorite. There's ice cream and hugging, right?
I don't mind hugging people. If I like the person, I don't mind. I don't hug everybody. I gotta like the person, Keith.
Maybe a couple drinks in, but this guy will hug everybody, everything.
Jesus, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Jeez.
You love it. You love it. It's your favorite. And I was wondering if COVID affected that and made you sad.
You know what? I wonder because I was hanging out with my not to get off track, but all right, let's go back to the story.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
but then when I got in like eighth grade and I would play basketball, like I was also a fat kid too, but then I played basketball like 6, 7 hours a day and I would just run nonstop. And then suddenly I quit getting in trouble in school because I was getting the anxiety out. That's one of the reasons why I can't sleep, too much anxiety. I run 4 miles a day still to this day, but I got to get the anxiety out. And once I get the anxiety out, then I'm fine. So once I started playing basketball like 6, 7 hours a day, I quit getting in trouble at school. I got good grades at school. I'm the only one of the kids of our 3 kids to go to college, let alone graduate, get an MBA. You know what I mean? But growing up, you would think I was like the worst. Like I was like the black sheep. Like anytime we anything went on at the house, my mom just took my sister's side. Like
Right.
she's like, obviously this is Ray's fault. What did Ray do? So as I was growing up, I never really talked to my mom. Like my aunt Judy, I would talk to her and confide. And then my mom kind of got like when I was in high school, she's like, "Why?" It's like this happened. I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like I talked to my aunt. I just felt more of a connection talking with my aunt Judy than I did my mom. Like it wasn't fun. It was never fun talking to my mom. My mom just every time I would say something, she's like, "No, what really happened?" Like my sisters are kind of the same way, and I think I think that's kind of a little bit why I resent my sisters a little bit because they look at me the same way my mom did when I was a kid. They still look at me as like I'm that person, like I'm that kid that's like always in trouble or something.
Well, my dad certainly does. He think well, there's 5 of us kids, and he certainly looks at us and remembers that he had to take the shit out of our diapers, you know. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 48 now, Dad. You know, you can talk to a
Yeah,
human goddamn being.
yeah. I think when my mom got cancer, like she definitely. I mean, that was sad. I mean, it's still my mom. I still love her because it's my mom. I don't. If my mom was alive, I would jokingly give her shit about my childhood. I definitely would call her out on it, but in a loving way to let her know that like I forgive you for the shittiness. Like, um, but yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything in common with my mom. I didn't talk to my mom about anything. I didn't want to. Anytime I talked to my mom about anything, it was a bummer. It was like all she did is talk about the shitty parts of what I was talking about, and it's like, all right, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Which that's something that the violence isn't what sticks with you. I just find it interesting. That would stick with me.
What's that?
The violence in your
The
house.
violence?
Yeah.
I'm sure I told the story on your podcast years ago, but when my dad being a carpet salesman would get like you sell so much carpet, you get free things, and had a top of the line Sony Walkman. My dad never used a Walkman, and then I think I was in ninth grade, and I would always use the Walkman just because. And then one day he saw me using the Walkman, and he just beat the shit out of me, just beat the shit out of me. And then I went to school. I didn't know that other
Sorry,
kids.
sorry. Not that it really matters, but I get so curious. With fists?
Yeah, yeah. I think he punched me. I think he might have kicked me. Yeah, I mean, he beat the crap out of me. And also, was I was at the age where I was like, should I fight back? You know what I mean? Like I was at the age where it's like, He's not that much bigger than me.
You know
But
what?
at the same time, it's like that's my dad. And then I wrote about it in a paper at school. I didn't know other kids didn't get hit. I did not know that wasn't a thing.
Sure.
And I wrote about it in a paper, an English paper. And then my English teacher came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this. Some social workers know about it. They're going to come talk to your parents." I'm like, "What? No!" And I started crying. And
Yeah.
and then the social worker came over, talked to my parents, talked to my sisters, talked to all of us. And my dad never hit us again after that. But what I did not like is how my mom would throw that back in my face.
That you were a snitch.
Like anytime anything happened, she's like, "What are you going to write a paper about this? What are you going to?"
And not even embarrassed.
Yeah, not even embarrassed. Like made me feel like I was the asshole for like, because in my head it never occurred to me that I assumed every kid got the shit beat out of them because I got the shit beat out of me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there's so much weird shit that I went through as a kid that I didn't realize was necessarily abuse until over time I just throw it out there on Keith and the Girl, and people are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, slow down.
can you give me an example?
You had to dig holes when you were a kid?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." My dad would, looking back, he was just sick of us being in the house. If my mom was gone, he'd make us go outside, dig holes, act like it was a punishment for something, but there's nothing we did. And I'd have to dig holes. And it's like, "Do you know that's strange?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I thought other people they had to do their shit. I don't know what their shit was, but our family happened to be digging holes. So I didn't think to bring it up in school to anybody, even for conversation." So yeah,
Wow,
it's the same thing where I'm like, yeah, everybody has something, but they don't.
that's also a shitty punishment because you're messing up his land.
It's a golf course now. Yeah, it's a mini golf course.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're saying. I did it. Yes.
but like, why would you want? It's like, all right, here's your punishment. You have to break all my windows with your fist.
But then
It's like,
he'll say this kind of stuff never happened, and it's well, I can point to the holes. Did that happen to your parents? Because that gets
no, you know what? Maybe because my parents died young. Well, here's the one blessing that I mean, I'm obviously, I wish my mom. I like to think we could have adult conversations about our childhood and everything. But what did happen after my mom died, and I was living with my dad. I just started doing comedy full time, and I was like traveling all over the place. I stayed with my dad. My dad and I became like best friends. So that was a cool 3 years. I got really close with my dad. Like those were the closest 3 years. Never mind the whole time my dad wishes he was dead because he'd rather be dead instead of my mom. Never mind that. But I actually became close with my dad. Like we became like really good friends. Like we talk every day. Even if I was on the road, he would call me. Like I became the new person he would talk to every single day.
is part of it frustrating? Like, but I don't bring up the time you beat the shit out of me over a Walkman. Is that like to hold that in? Is that
You know why I didn't hold that so much again? Because he never hit me again after that.
okay?
Like, so I like to think that he learned his,
He learned his lesson,
yeah,
but
like,
couldn't tell you anything about it.
yeah, it was, yeah, like my dad liked, my mom didn't like me. My dad liked me. My dad actually liked me. My mom didn't like me. My mom just looked at me and just saw like, look at this piece of shit. What am I going to do with him? Where my dad like actually liked me. My parents and my mom and my sisters have no sense of humor whatsoever. Like it's also like not fun hanging. I mean, it's hanging the holidays. I don't mind hanging with my relatives, whatever. But like to them, the sense of humor is like repeating lines that you heard in the movie Wedding Crashers or
Right.
something. Like like that's what's funny. Like like oh, that's what she said. Ha ha ha. Like that's a joke to them. Like hey, he's the funny guy. He just repeated something that was in Happy Gilmore or something. Like
Did
to them, that's what's funny, and it's like
Did
yeah.
you ever see yourself accidentally um being in dating patterns? Like did you like violent women or women that put you in your place or kind of didn't pay attention to you as anything like that?
Um, when sexually, I like it when a woman is
Beats
the
the shit
proactive.
into you.
Yeah, I like it when she's proactive. I hate like, all right, am I? You know what? Nothing's like, all right, I'm gonna go to kiss her. Is this cool? All right, I'm gonna touch a boob. Is it like? I still hate like they're like, are we doing this? And I'm like, I like a woman that like,
Well, who doesn't, right? Who doesn't
yeah.
put the other
It's
person
like
in charge?
I don't want to feel like I'm coercing you into doing this. Are we doing this? Are we not doing this? I don't want to make it. I'm like, all right, we're too old for this to be like we're in 10th grade.
Ray used to have this thing when he would go on dates. If he had to, tell me if I'm saying something wrong. If he had to take a shit in a restaurant or this kind of thing, he would sneak out of the restaurant, go home, shit at home, and then go back to the restaurant like nothing happened. Is this right?
It doesn't. I can't confirm that, but that doesn't sound like something I wouldn't do.
Okay, because it sounds like something, for example, I wouldn't do.
Yeah,
I never did this.
I'm not going to say that would be off the table. I mean, sure, there's. Yeah, I think it was Dan Allen that pointed out to you guys that I once did laundry during a date. Like I was on a date with a girl, and I was like, I
By
was
the way, I
multitasking.
hate every comic you brought up on your show so far today.
What?
Do you know that?
What's that?
I hate every comic you brought up on the show so far.
Every comment or
Every
comic?
comic. Every comic you brought up, I'm like, I think I hate this person.
Oh, really? Oh.
You go, oh, Pat Dixon did this. I'm like, I think you know that Pat Dixon did the creepy shit to interns of mine, and
I didn't know that. I know that you guys had a fallout. I did not know what that's
yeah,
about.
we had a fallout.
Right.
And then who'd you just bring up? Dan Allen. You should hate Dan Allen. Dan Allen did a show with you, and stole all the money and hid all the and tried to hide the mailing lists. You're a quick forgiver.
Uh, yeah, I don't hate the guy. But yeah, I didn't know the details of the Pat. Like, as soon as like there's comedy beefs, it's like, all right, I don't know. I don't want to know the ins and outs. But yeah, he just yeah, that was a thing that just happened the other day. But the whole thing of the fact that Gino went off on me saying Ray DeVito's trying to get me canceled. It's like, yeah, you're not allowed to yell things like that at shows. Yeah, I didn't tell you to yell that. Yeah, I can see why the lady that owned the place was like, yeah, we got to shut this down. I was on her side. If I owned a land and someone's doing that on my property, I'd also fucking shut it down. I would be like, I don't condone this.
Is he saying that I don't like any of it, but is he saying the N word in a joke? Is he doing
I wasn't. I just heard him. I just heard him yelling it. I heard it coming out of his mouth, and it's like, yeah.
This is some world, this comedy community.
Yeah, I tell you.
I got to go to more shows. All right.
Yeah.
It is funny you have an MBA. That's still funny to me. Is it funny to you?
No, I'm good at numbers, Keith. I suck at everything, but I've always been good at numbers.
Okay. And
like I can do chemistry. I don't know what the different elements are and what they do, but if you tell me which elements, like you just give me the formulas,
then you can what?
Then I could figure it out or tell you how many this you need for this or whatever. Speaking of which, man,
yeah,
I lost a bunch of money gambling.
Well, that's the thing. You have an MBA, and I'm hearing you talk about the roulette wheel was the latest.
Yeah, it's foolproof.
It's foolproof, right? So your plan is you put it on a number. It's this percent to win.
Just the color, black or red. Just pick a color, and you got to stick with it.
And the percentage of it landing again, you say gets higher and higher and higher. And you did that over and over and over and over. And surprise, surprise, it didn't fucking work. Then you debate about going to the ATM and coming back, but that would change the whole percent. Don't you understand that?
Yeah.
You'd be starting over again.
I didn't expect to lose 5 times in a row, Keith. The odds of winning every spin is 48%. So I did not expect to lose 5 times in a row. So when I lost the first time, I'm like, all right, well, we'll do the second. All right, that's fine. I still got loss. So when I was like, this is fucked up. I actually got mad at the roulette person. I go, what are you doing? I go, this is
rigged.
Mathematically impossible.
I know better than anybody else. I do think like I have like these stupid systems and things like that. Last time I was at a casino, right now I'm thinking I'm the king of roulette because I was at a casino and you can only do this when you're by yourself or you'd look like a fucking weirdo. So my girlfriend was in the hotel room, and I'm walking around like, the 8 roulette tables next to each other. And when there is something like you just went through, when there is like 6 blacks in a row, let's say, then I go red, then I get the fuck out. And again, it's still luck, but I made out, and then now I think I have a whole system.
Well, your system worked. Mine did not. I should have shut up on my baseball cards and just keep
Right.
on my baseball cards because I have infinite amounts of those. I could have just been like,
How much did you lose this 5 times in a row?
um, 10, 20, 40, 80, 160. So 160 plus 80 plus 40 plus 20 plus 10.
How
I
much
think
is that, NBA?
it's like 320 because yeah,
Right.
it's like 320 or 310. I think it comes out to 310.
Was that the beginning of the casino adventure? Because that's a bummer when it's right away.
It was like right in the middle. It was the same night I met the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. There was what happened first, the roulette wheel or the guy going, I don't give a fuck if you have my shirt.
The roulette thing, and then
Mm,
yeah,
balls.
it's a shitty hour, Keith. It was a
Yeah.
shitty hour. I want to be like, hey man, I know you have the cash. You're good for it. Can I just borrow 320? I'll give it right back to you.
That's foolproof. Follow me on this. Okay, here's the wheel, right?
Come on, dude. You see, I wear your jersey. I wear your jersey while I'm doing it. It's like, no, that's even worse.
What's the high and low of your life right now? What are you most excited about, Ray? And what's other than your uncle? What's shitty that's going
um, what's shitty? Just the uncertainty about everything. I'm waiting for, well, hopefully both these specials. Things should be on the up and up, but I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. The good thing is the fact that yeah, I had a rough where I didn't realize anything was wrong with me, and ever since I started taking Capra, like I can more clear in my head. I can think clear now. I don't got to worry about my brain not working, which I didn't realize that was a thing before.
on?
It's like putting on glasses for the first time. We're like, oh, look, I can see that. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to be. Like that's how my brain feels now that I'm on Keppra. Like, oh, like everything's fine. It's like I feel like I'm like in my 20s again, like brain wise. Like I don't got to worry about that stuff, like blacking out.
I tell you, it was the beginning of the pandemic, and after a car accident, not immediately after, but after a car accident, and we were talking, and all of a sudden you were just gone, and it took a couple minutes, and I'm like, Ray, you there? We were talking about the car accident. You're like, you were in a car accident? Did the Capra fix all that, or do you know? Does anybody?
I wasn't on Keppra then. I'm on Keppra.
Think
Yeah.
it fixed that, or does this ever happen again to you?
No. Once I started Keppra, I've never had any incidents.
Okay.
And what really stunk is like when it first started happening, my doctor just kept telling me, "Oh, those are anxiety attacks." Like he never even thought to have me go see a neurologist. He's like, "Oh, that's just anxiety. Those are panic attacks. You're having anxiety attacks." And so he would put, what's that?
I mean, maybe you didn't know how to describe it, but that sounds like a horrible doctor. No, I've saw it. It made me think of my mom with Alzheimer's. It's like all of a sudden the person's just gone.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know how good my doctor is. I don't know. Like I went in for a checkup and I told him my age. He's like, "Whoa, I thought you were like 41." I'm like, "How do you not know my age? I'm your fucking patient. How?"
You're 10 years younger.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of shit we had. There's like 7 years we didn't check off yet.
Crossing things off. He's shaking his head. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you should have got your prostate checked 4 years ago.
Right. I took that medication out. That's not going to be any.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like you're doing good.
Yeah, I don't know. What's going on? How's your relationship with your siblings? You got to have some family contact with.
It's very good. And my dad got us closer, probably. It's good. We're just talking today, as a matter of fact. What's exciting in our lives is that my dad wrote to my ex-wife behind my back. This is after we got divorced, And but we still talk. And my ex said, "Hey, I got this letter from your dad. This is weird. He's asking why we broke up 2 years earlier, and we don't talk." And I go, "Okay, can I pretend that I'm you and keep the conversation going?" And she said, I don't give a fuck what you do." So I started rating him as if I was her. Cut to, he starts telling her how desirous she is, that she makes his libido jingle, all this creepy stuff. So I ended up catfishing my dad for a year. I'm turning that into a book now. It's very exciting. So my siblings aren't necessarily pleased about it, but my dad's so weird that they understand. And if any of that made sense, that's exciting for me.
Now, how's the book going?
Good. I think I'm done with like the first draft, let's say.
Okay.
So it's if you go to keithandthegirl.com/dad, it's me talking about these emails. That would be like the audiobook, if you will. I'm going to turn these emails into a regular book so that you can look at what the last email was. You can quickly, flip pages or scroll up and down and compare, some bullshit to different other bullshit. I'm excited about that.
Now, are you excited because like this is a way to like in a way like get even with your dad for everything that he's done to you and won't acknowledge?
It's not even necessarily getting even. Like right now, if you go to theatlantic.com, there's an article unrelated to this story that I'm telling now, but about treasure hunting, and he says he knew ESP and helps people find some gold. Very convoluted story, but you'll find this article there. And in the article, the guy goes, "So I called his son, the host of Keith and the Girl, and said, 'What do you think? Does your dad know ESP?' And I'm like, 'I know nothing about my dad. He's full of shit,' and blah blah blah." And all that wasn't. So that's fun. That would be more, I think, what you're talking about. This email book, I like that because you wasted my time and you're a piece of shit. So let me make something fun out of it. And not to be dramatic, anybody out there that went through some big gaslighting situation, I think this would help them a little bit.
Okay. What was like the weirdest email that
You make my libido jingle was weird, and that was only like 150. Here's another part that was the whole thing's fucking weird. It's shockingly amazing if I say so myself, but that's not giving credit to me. That's giving credit to my dad. But at one point I say, "Dad, I have my ex keep getting weirder and weirder in these emails," until he finally says, "Okay, look, maybe we should quit talking. You're implying that my wife's going to find out. My dad's still married. You're implying that my wife's going to, let's end this." And then I wrote from the fake email. I can understand if this gets confusing. I wrote from the fake email, "Very good, Dad. You did it. Love, Keith. I'm proud of you." Then my dad, instead of talking to me, rates to the ex, which is also me, and says, "Somebody must be pretending to be Keith. Are you telling him our secrets?" I'm like, "Dad!"
Wow, that's got to be the creepiest.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's even creepier than like.
He has to be in denial. He can't look me in the face and go, "Yeah, I did for a year. I was hitting on your ex." He pretends he really was talking to my ex, and there's stories that I don't know. And I'm like, "Dad, it's in black and white."
He's got like Jussie Smollett disease. It's like just like he just can't admit when he's busted. He's like, "No, I'm sticking to my story."
Dad, your signature is on the check. You're pointing at video cameras where you're going to be beaten up later. I know it.
Yeah. It's clearly you.
Yeah.
Ah.
So I'm excited about that. But again, it's not so overwhelming the way we explain it at keithandthegirl.com/dad. So I think people might get a kick out of that.
Now, do you also think your dad just doesn't have the ability to be a normal, rational person and comprehend things?
No, he does understand it. He was the same. He was the same when I was a kid, always trying to be the man, act like he knows more than you do. You would think he would, he's your dad, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so no, he is able to. He knows he's lying when he's lying. That's the difference. If it was just a psychotic break or something, then okay, maybe I'd be cruel. But no, he knows what he's doing when he doesn't. He knows when he's lying and still thinks he can trick you.
When was the first time as a kid that you realized your your dad isn't right? The first time you're like, oh wait a minute, this isn't.
I yeah, I remember in school, I'd be in class and then someone be like, "Psst, Keith, your dad," and like point to the door, and it was those school doors with the little tiny windows. You
Right.
know what I mean? Little vertical windows, and my dad's just like staring with his into the classroom like a weirdo, and he would just try to keep spying on me or something. We'd find him outside of the school. Like he would be like hiding in the bushes, like staring in. Like, let
Do
me.
you understand? Like, forget that that's your dad. Like now, that would be on like high alert.
I'd hope so.
Just, I mean, I get it. He's your dad, but even if he wasn't your dad, just some random guy standing there. He's not everybody's dad. It'd be one thing if it was all that they were all his kids. Then you're like, all right, I see why he's standing there. But like,
Does he think I'm doing weird shit because he does weird shit? I don't know. I don't know.
that
But no, I wasn't causing any trouble.
that's interesting.
Like, what do you think you're looking for? Did you do something when you were a kid that somebody should have been looking for? I don't know.
That's interesting. My moment of clarity that my mom uh, wasn't right, or not she wasn't right, where she was like kind of not cool to me, where it kind of there's some clarity to it, was I think I was in eighth grade, and me and my friend Adib, who lived like right around the corner from me, we would like wash windows at like 7-Eleven or like the bars, and like the whoever was working there would like give us a few bucks or whatever, and just because like we did their work so they didn't have to. And so we went to 7-Eleven. The lady owed us $20 because we washed the windows like 2-3 days, whatever we did, and she wouldn't give us the $20. And we're like, this is bullshit. So we went across the street to Adib's house, and his mom was there, and Adib just told her the story, and she walked us back over there to the 7-Eleven, and the lady gave us our $20. And in my head, I'm like, that can happen? Like that never would have happened with my mom. My mom would have been like, no, what did you really do? Like, why? Like, she wouldn't have, like, she just wouldn't, like, I was always like, no, what are you up to? What's your story?
Yeah.
Like, she just wouldn't have just believed me because I was her kid that someone ripped off $20 from me. Like, she just wouldn't have believed me. That wasn't even in the realm of possibility. And, like, that was the first time I realized, like, okay, wait a minute. Parents do that? Parents can just, they just believe you when you say stuff? That's a real thing that happens?
Yeah, I get you. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Like that's what like threw me off a little bit. Like, wait, they just believe you when you say things. They don't assume you're lying.
Yeah, my dad did that a lot where it'd be like he'd look at us and say, like, just know I know. And it's like, what are you even talking about? Like, I know. It's like, does that mean? And then looking back, it's because you had a million weird secrets. I'm waiting for either a second family or this kind of thing. We never had family reunions, never had friends. They never had adult friends coming over ever. And it's like, wow, why does nobody like you?
Oh, you look back at like you didn't have cousins growing up with?
Nope. I mean, we had cousins, of course, but my dad had 2 siblings, my mom 4, but no, nobody came over the house, and I think my dad like turned them all off.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's interesting.
yeah, that's one thing. Like now that I'm in Cleveland a lot, like my Aunt Judy, who's my favorite aunt, the aunt that I was closest to growing up, my mom's sister. Um, she still works at like the movie theater. She works at AMC. She's been a manager there for like ever since I was in high school. So she's about getting ready to retire. And I just went over there and saw her the other day, and we're talking. And then all my cousins were in town. Her daughter Rachel, my other cousin Desiree, who's also her daughter, and then her son Seth. They were all at Rachel's house. So she's like, "Oh, everyone's at Rachel's house if you want to go." So I stopped over there, and it was fun. It was fun as hell, just like hanging out with my cousins and like their kids. And I forget, like, now I'm going to make you feel sad because this is what I was going to say, is that was like one of the funnest things of growing up for me, was hanging out with my cousins, like hanging out with
Sure.
my other relatives. Not my sisters were curmudgeons. They were no fun. They were always no fun. And I think my younger sister Julie wouldn't be that way, but she just saw my older sister that way, so she just adopted that. Like, I don't think she's naturally that much of a non-fun person. She just saw my older sister be like that and was like, oh, this is what you do. But it was a lot of fun hanging out with my cousins, and it was like, oh, it reminded me of the good times. And then I'm like, maybe I liked hanging out with my cousins so much because I didn't have that comfortability with my own inner family. Maybe because like my mom always put me on the back seat. You know, like I remember when we were a kid, one kid could ride up front at a time when we go somewhere. My mom would drive, and then there's three of us. So one could sit up front, two in the back. One has to sit up front. But if someone's sitting in the front, they want someone else to sit with them, they could always sit in the front. So it was either me and my mom in the front, my two sisters in the back, or me, my two sisters, or my mom, my two sisters in the front while I was in the back. So 2/3 of the time, just me in the back by myself.
Okay.
Like just a little thing. You think my mom would have been like, no, only one could sit up front at a time, just to be like, but not even thinking about that. Like, just like, fuck this kid. Like, make him sit in the back by myself. Like, that kind of hurt me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I was not included in my own fucking family.
I had a cousin that died not too long ago. And my dad emailed all us kids and said, your cousin Ricky died. That is all I know of the information. Like, okay. How about which side's Ricky from?
Yeah, who's Ricky again? How old was Ricky? You don't even know. I don't even know whose family it was. I just saw the obituaries.
You pick up a phone and get back to us. You have me curious now.
Who do you think keeps in contact with him? Where did he get that information about Ricky?
I think it was somebody on my mom's side. So he still got the news, but we're not necessarily included in family stuff.
But your other family doesn't reach out to you at all, like your cousins and stuff?
No, but also like as an adult now, I didn't reach out because I don't know you.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know these cousins at all. So I could, but I don't know. Maybe it just never seemed worth it to me because it'd be fucking weird. Like, hey, let's talk. Was my dad a weirdo that pushed your mom away? Do you know about, it'd be a weird conversation. So I just didn't bother.
You're not curious? Like, I'm curious to that's a one cool thing about seeing my uncle last week. He was still lucid, and he was just telling stories.
Yeah, we don't know your dad. I'd be like, okay, good talk.
Yeah. But like him telling stories about my dad growing up and like my mom and dad before I was born, like them living in North Ridgeville and stuff. So I mean, it was cool to hear stories, like hearing stories about my grandma and grandpa. Which. Right. Yeah, talk about being unwoke. I love my grandma. She's a crazy old Italian lady. She used to hit us with the back of the knives, not hard, but still. Like, what if she didn't know what side of the knife was? Like, she would like smack us on the leg. Yeah, with the giant. Why is she always walking around with a giant fucking butcher knife? I don't know. That's another thing.
It does make me sad that I didn't have such a beautiful, these beautiful family stories like Ray does. But it is what it is.
Yeah. No, my grandma was great. She was a different day and age. It was batshit crazy, but yeah.
But you do say I'm hearing a lot of violent stories and how everybody's great. Is there anybody you don't like?
Anybody I don't like?
You don't even have to say their name, but are you thinking of people that you really don't like, or do you like everybody?
There's a few people I don't care for.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few people I don't care.
Anna Gatsby, right?
I have nothing against
I'm asking
that person. I don't know that human being. I have nothing against that human being.
Right.
Whatever they want to be referred to as, a storyteller, sometimes comedian. I don't know. I don't.
What's the schedule on this stand-up album? I'm excited.
I don't know. I got to start going through the footage. And there was 2 shows. I want to piece it together, kind of like what they did with the Dry Bar special, which I'm still waiting for it to come out. But like, I purposely did 2 different. I'm not gonna say 2 different sets, but a lot of different stuff on both shows, just to like get as much as possible. I just want to get as much content out there, and and I'm thankful for people that listen to this podcast. I didn't know when I started doing this, people would listen to it, but I'm happy they do. So, just.
Does the title still fit? Rock Bottom?
Um,
Like,
yeah, I'm
like
fine
the
with it. I'm not.
Matrix.
Yeah, I think also one of the things with like a lot of like I don't want to say podcast wars, but people that like take shots at each other on podcast. Like if people make fun of me, I don't take it serious. Where some people do take it serious when they get made fun of. Like if it's funny, I'll laugh at it, and there's some people that take it too serious, and I don't take it serious. If you make fun of me and it's funny, I'm like, oh, that's a funny joke. Um, but if someone makes fun of me, and it's not funny. It's like, all right, I'll just ignore it. I don't.
Who's making fun of you, Ray?
What?
Who's making fun of you?
No one in a while, but
Okay, all right.
yeah, they want to. I try to be nice.
Yeah,
Try to be a nice guy, right?
you're doing the best you can.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What you got going on tonight?
Tonight I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do a show in Cleveland later, but I'm gonna see my godparents for a little bit and hang out with them. And I think a lot of it too, for the fact that my uncle just passed away. I was like, I'm in the mood now to see like a bunch of family. Like I don't hate my family. And it's like, all right, my sisters don't want to hang out with me. I'll find all the relatives that do like me. Turns out a lot of my family likes me.
Can I call your godparents tonight too?
You wanna come over? You
I
can.
want some family stories. Yeah, sounds like a good time.
Yeah, no, they're no, they're great people. But yeah, I I look at it too. Like one of the things that upset me with my sister, like not going to see my uncle, is like I don't have any family. Let's say I'm in that position. What are you going to tell your kids not to go see me? You know what I mean? Like I don't have any family. So if I'm in that position, what am I just sitting there alone? You're not gonna fucking come see me? You
Yeah, but
fucking
you can't extrapolate like that. They have their reasons, and who gives a shit?
yeah.
Your dad can't see what's going on from heaven, and
I don't know if there's heaven. I'm agnostic, Keith. I don't know the answers.
yeah,
I know no one else does. I don't know if there's a God, if there's not a God. Do I think it sounds like a lovely story? It'd be nice.
it sounds like a
I,
horrible story, but okay. This is Bible.
yeah, I don't think it's. I think whatever is out there is not anything that anyone actually pictures. I think it's. Yeah, I think we all like as you go into sleep and you have good thoughts or bad thoughts, and those are the ones you carry for eternity. Your
Oh
last thought.
goodness! Oh my! Oh
Yeah.
my!
What do you think? But no, I don't think there's a man in the sky that welcomes us all in.
No, I think it would just. I think it's just the end. You're done and you're dead.
I think it could be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Put it this way: I know I don't know, but I know no one else knows. If that makes sense.
Sure, I can prove it to you.
What do you?
Your mind.
What's that?
You're not ready for it, but I can prove it to you. No, I'm just being silly.
Oh, all right. No, one of these days, prove it to me. I don't mind being. But yeah, I don't know the
If
deal,
I'm in
man.
heaven afterwards, I'll leave clues around. How about that?
You'll leave,
Yeah, you'll know.
you're gonna leave a baseball card out for me.
I'm gonna hide your favorite card. I don't even know which one's which, though.
Yeah, and also if ghosts are real, wouldn't there be more ghosts now than there was when there's nobody on the planet? Isn't that hilarious? There's like a bunch of ghosts in the 1910s.
Right. There's only less. Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, you think there'd be more ghosts? You think ghosts would have increased as time gone on? But there seems to be less and less ghosts as we become. Isn't it weird? The more self-absorbed we become, and the more stuff to take our attention off of ourselves,
Mhm.
the less ghost. There's a shortage of ghosts now.
What do we think of aliens? Space aliens. Are they out there, Ray?
Um, I'm not going to say there's
Okay.
aliens,
Okay.
but there's no way we're the only thing in the universe. There's no
What's the
way.
difference?
There's
What's the difference?
well, I guess even if they are human beings, like even if it's a cat living on a planet somewhere, I guess that still counts as an alien just because it's not on this
Correct.
planet,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, if we're talking like sci-fi, what people think aliens, I don't know, but there's definitely some life forms. Like every time you look in the sky, every star is a sun. That could be a possible solar system.
I'm still wondering about that, but go ahead.
But there's got to be something orbiting around one of those stars in the sky that has some type of life form on it. And they're probably just as dumb as us, where they're not able to. Nor why do they want to find out what's over here? You know how much resource that would take?
Well, maybe we have oil they can use.
You think they would burn all that oil to come here
Use
to
grass.
grab our oil?
They burn grass, but they know oil's better.
Do you know how much fossil fuels they would have to burn just to get here? Do you see why that doesn't make sense? They would have to burn all the oil on this planet to come here and get our oil.
Do you know about their photon engines? What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
But then why would they need our oil if they these fictional photon?
They still eat eggs. You know, there's a lot of things we still have in common.
All right.
You know.
All right. Now I know where your dad gets this from. I'm messing with you. Now let's save this conversation for another day. I'm curious.
Okay.
All right.
I'll bring my proof about aliens, no alien life, and no heaven.
All right. All right.
I just passed away. What am I doing over here? There's a heaven. There's aliens.
He's in line. He's in line hearing this. He's like, wait a minute. What are you telling me? How backed up is that line?
What's that?
How backed up is that line to heaven? Like when there's a tragedy, it's got to be a long line.
Yeah, you still got to wait. You got to go through the book.
Yeah. You don't want to die in a tragedy then. If there's a heaven, you don't want to die in a tragedy.
That's what everybody's saying. Why mass shootings are so horrible.
Yeah, because you're in line with all these other people.
Yeah.
You want to die in a slow day. You want to die in a slow day where you get right to the front.
Exactly.
You know, that's when you want to die. You want to die alone. Like he died alone. Well, he didn't have to wait in line to get to heaven.
Are you scared of dying?
Am I scared of dying? I mean, I know it's going to happen. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen today. If I get to,
I hope not too.
Yeah.
I feel like I can say that. I hope not too, right?
Yeah.
All right.
No, then I see how much I'm in debt and everything. It's like, dying wouldn't be so bad. You know, every time you see how much debt you're like, there's this dying option. This dying option isn't so crummy. When you do all the pros and cons.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, your life sounds okay. You got these specials coming out. We're all excited about that. I'm a regular listener of Rock Bottom, G-Hole, whatever
we're calling it today.
And I guess congrats to Helium and congrats on your hot sauce.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Everybody check out Keith Malley, keithandthegirl.com. Check out their podcast, Podcast Hall of Famers, one of the best podcasts ever. Oh. I always enjoy it, man. You got, this is like getting batting tips. It's like meeting Tony Gwynn, who's won like 7 batting titles. And like, here I am, can barely hit the ball out of the infield. And you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Ray's always been an interesting guest. keithandthegirl.com/Ray DeVito. You can hear all the times he was on before.
All right. I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Peace.